Right, I'm going to try and keep this within around 5 minutes as a sort of test. See how I go about doing a little video, just talking about a comic that I've recently read. It's called The Foldings, and it is all kinds of gorgeous. It really, really is. It's an adorable wandering between two loving guys wandering through a magical marketplace. And initially it could lure you into a full sense of security and thinking that it's all quite cutesy and humorous, and yet it will then drop sort of like location bombs of artwork that looks like that, and just world building and little relationship moments and moments of sadness and tenderness that just really sort of like bring it alive. And the entire artwork is just consistently gorgeous. I mean, it's got some real heartfelt moments. And the lovely thing about this is it's an independent comic, but it's also got some wonderful short story novella at the end of it. So you've got your initial comic, you've got all that gorgeous artwork and a lovely little story told within this world that is just built, and then you've actually got a little novella short story, of which I'll just read the opening passage from, which is called Skywreck. Nothing lived this far up. Ice sparkled in weak sunlight, a perfect uniform dusting over boards and barrels, masts and rigging, and the faces of the crew. If their cold, dead eyes could still see, they might have marvelled at the beauty of it. A fleet of broken ships, tumbling slowly in the thin air, creaking gently as their snapped timbers and frayed rigging caught the breezes that danced in their quiet little eddy. Each lay as it had risen, some close to tinderwood, and others almost whole, carrying their silent crew reverently through the quiet frozen skies, until one fell. The dock workers barely saw it coming, a dark speck in a busy sky, then a terrifying shadow blotting out the light. Moments later, the steaming comet dropped past. A dozen safeguards to detect death and dangers of all kinds stayed silent as the ship rocketed downwards through Lommel. Later, people asked why the anti-falling spell hadn't stopped the wreck before it reached the city. Why the fire wasn't doused by the anti-flame spell. Perhaps the wreckage had a magic all of its own. Perhaps it was simply going too fast. When it hit, every siren and safeguard went off at once. And that's just a small little snippet. And this story that's at the end also becomes beautifully illustrated. And you've got sort of like wonderful characterful drawings, and yet you've also got sort of stuff that could be concept art from a movie or an animated feature. And it's just a lovely book. It tells stories, it builds a world, and the world building, as you can see from these little illustrations here, is just beautifully done. So I can't recommend this enough. If you can get hold of a copy of this, it's done by Joann Dominik and Faye Simms, and they're all over Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram. They do a wonderful selection of stuff as well. Etsy, I've had so many of their badges, literally. Anyone who knows me will know my bag is just covered in all kinds of badges, and a lot of them come from this lovely pair. So please check out The Foldings. Details below this video, and hopefully this will be the first of many where I talk about a comic or something that has that touched me recently, and that I feel should be shared and hopefully enjoyed by a lot of people. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is the first one Hopefully they'll get better. But you never know, because internet. Who knows? But thank you for stopping by.